Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 2, Episode 6, where we watch The Challenge, Season 29, Episode 1 and 2. I'm Chris Lorenz. Sitting to my right is...
Harrison Hoffman.
Sitting to his right.
Robert Kitts.
Sitting to his right.
Circling, James Rohal.
Sitting to his right.
Kara Maxree. Don't worry about it. Just move on.
Okay.
I'm going to ignore that one.
Max, being classic Max
So,
again.
after we banned MTV from this podcast, somebody decided we needed to watch this show.
So did we officially ban it after we watched Bully Beatdown?
No, we banned VH1.
VH1.
No, we didn't ban VH1.
Who did we ban for lying to us about the reality of Mormons?
Oh, that was VH1.
No. It was the
It
one.
was the Amish one.
it was-
Amish, not
Oh, the
Mormons.
Amish one. Was that VH1?
That was VH1.
Yeah.
No
Oh.
doubt.
Blacklisted.
I thought that was okay. Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
Or maybe, I don't know. I thought MTV was banned. So,
Well,
I guess
not
MTV,
anymore, it
I think
isn't.
we agree is bad, and not something we want to watch.
Maybe it was banned for season 1, but then the bans got lifted for season 2.
maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I guess.
So we're watching this MTV show.
It's tough to roll through two of these episodes. Like, one episode, I was like, oh, that's not bad. And then by the end of episode 2, I was like,
2 gets to be
"Ooh,
and
this,
like
this is Dragon.
they're also kind of taking it a little bit slower at the start of the season than they usually do. Like in like a normal challenge episode, you'll get a challenge and an elimination in the same episode. So they're kind of stretching it out a little bit at the beginning. Like just because there's so many people on the show right now, I
We're
think.
doing
There's
setup. We
too
got no
many
setup.
people on
Let's
this show.
describe what the show is.
Oh yeah, do we need
It's
to
the
use the description here?
sexiest reboot of Legends of the Hidden Temple I have ever seen.
Oh,
I feel like there's a lot more content in this than Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Okay, do I need
Maybe.
to read
Hit
the
it.
description of this show here? I'm
Yeah.
pulling it up right now on my phone. Let's see if we can find it. All right. The Challenge Invasion of the Champions brings together 18 underdogs to battle across a series of contests for the chance to move out of squalor and into typical challenge luxury, the Oasis. Just when the lucky ones get comfortable, they'll find the game is far from over. The final crop of underdogs will have to face down 8 proven champions for their share at a $350,000 prize. There you go.
So this was also used to be called Real World Road Rules Challenge.
Yeah, this is
For
basically
like the people in Throwback.
Yeah, this is basically the evolution of Real World Road Rules Challenge. Like evolved over 29 seasons. They've had a lot of time to kind of mess with this thing and tweak it and whatnot.
Yeah, the last time I watched MTV, there was a Real World Road Rules Challenge. That
Yeah.
shows you how long ago I watched MTV.
Yeah.
So
Which was always like that was always kind of one of my favorite MTV shows because like it's kind of like some challenges and there's some kind of fun stuff there. I don't know.
I didn't really watch it though. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I watched The Jersey Shore though.
Jersey Shore,
Uh,
not a great show.
I thought the first season.
season
was,
1 was great.
Yeah.
Max has strong feelings about the Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore is absolute trash. Everybody on it is absolute trash except Vinny. But yeah,
You
it's
got a
great.
soft spot in your heart for Vinny?
He's just like this one nice guy surrounded by pieces of shit. But basically, long story short, MTV is garbage except for this one guy on this one show.
Okay.
Now you know.
So yeah, the show is definitely not terrible, but it's definitely not good.
So it's fair to say, like, to set up, like, this is basically a Survivor kind of show, but all the contestants are from either Real World or Road Rules previous seasons.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment.
And also, like, a lot of them know each other from previous
Yeah.
seasons of these
That-
shows, which
That is the key difference is that people come back for multiple seasons of the show. So like there's a lot of history with this thing and it's kind of like there's ongoing relationships and rivalries and like, you know, someone fucked someone over 4 seasons ago and it's going to come back to haunt them later. Like so there's a lot of history with this stuff.
Side question.
Yeah.
What is Road Rules? I know the Real World. I don't know if I think I've ever heard of Road Rules
Road
as a
Rules,
show before.
yeah, Road Rules is basically the show where they got like, you know, 5 or 6 like people and they gave them like, you know, an RV or like a coach bus and they basically kind of like drive across the country like doing challenges and then like voting people out basically. So like Road Rules is more of a spiritual successor to the challenge than Real World, but they basically like then kind of combine them together.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this definitely feels like Survivor, but like way more drama, like infinite more drama.
Well, they've taken out the surviving. Like, it's always unclear how much of Survivor they're actually spending really trying to survive, but that's a big part of how they pitch it. They're like, oh, you got to build your own fire, you got to get your own food and all that stuff. And this is like they're clearly just have all the supplies, including copious alcohol that they need, and it's not a problem.
So this is the first season that they've had to be in some kind of outdoor survival style situation. Like, usually they just roll up and they're in some super nice luxury house and everyone's just kind of sitting by the pool drinking. But they kind of added this little extra bit to this one.
This definitely feels a lot like Survivor in terms of like that. But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you see them eating pancakes. I'm like, I don't see anyone eating pancakes on Survivor.
That just means they're not doing it right.
No, there's the one episode per season in Survivor where they get to eat pancakes and they're all like losing their minds about how this is the greatest food ever. And
Yeah.
then spending the next part of the episode talking about how they all have digestive problems because their body can't handle the sugar or whatever.
I mean, like, these people are all like pretty fit in general, but I don't know how well they would fare on actual Survivor. Like, I think that if there wasn't someone taking care of like getting food and drinks and washing their various Under Armour apparel and all this kind of stuff, then I don't know if it would be going as well.
I'm
Not as many protein shakes as I was expecting for a tropical destination.
Yeah.
their macronutrients are probably
they're
off.
doing.
They gotta
Yeah.
they gotta get those proteins up.
I guess Under Armour doesn't make protein shakes, so they're gonna get that sponsor.
Nope. You gotta get that muscle milk sponsorship. Bring them in.
Crow milk, you mean? You,
Oh yeah. Is that the better one?
yeah, that's the one from It's Always Sunny.
Oh.
What was it?
Crow
oh yeah,
milk?
Crow milk.
Bro
Yeah.
milk? Oh. I was kind of expecting bro milk. The number of times the word bro is thrown around the show is through the roof.
Like per sentence.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, that time I found out that you were homeless,
Bro.
I was like, bro.
So everyone in this show is I don't want to hang out with at all. They're like the opposite of what I want to hang out with.
Yep.
Like they're just drama. They love it. They attract it and they create it. It's awful.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be hanging out in this situation. There's
Not
a lot
even
of
this
drama.
situation. Like I don't want to hang out with these people outside of the challenge.
Are they hamming
Would you
it
wanna
up just
play-
for TV? Or are they actually like that IRL?
I can't imagine
Yeah.
that these people are like. I'm sure a little bit of us hamming it up for the TV, but I'm sure
I mean,
the drama exists in their life, and they,
Would
There
you want
is-
to play kickball with them? That's my question.
With or against them?
Against them, obviously.
I don't know.
it seemed like they'd be pretty good at kickball.
Right?
they'd
be
be
real
taking
aggressive.
it way too seriously.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be like that team that's just like super, aggressive and into it, and you're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Yeah, but at the
100%.
bar, I feel like they'd be fun.
Oh yeah,
definitely
It'd
not.
be an insane.
You're the one
No,
who just said
no.
you don't want to
They've
hang out
haven't-
with them
they've
in any
haven't-
situation.
They would be getting into fights.
Yeah, like
Oh,
the bar
so-
would just be like 16 fights a night.
Oh yeah, I don't want all of them and like all of them on one kickball team. Yeah, that would
Right,
be
that's what I'm
terrible.
saying.
That'd be
It'd
awful.
the worst.
So one thing that,
Wait,
that
are we just pitching a new season of the challenge
yeah.
where they have
Yo,
to fight?
if MTV's listening,
They have to fight their way to the top of a minor league kickball team.
no,
Yeah,
we just
that'd be
invite
great.
them.
No,
and
it's
MTV
just-
shows up and films it while we play kickball against them.
No, it's just like they have a whole kickball league with all of the people from the challenge.
Oh, the challenge is just a kickball league.
Yeah,
I got you.
The thing that usually happens on the challenge that we didn't get to see this time is like, so they're in like some house living there, but it's like real isolated from stuff. They're not like anywhere where you can like go places really. It's just like in like some random location where they're either at the house or they're at like a challenge. But then like occasionally they'll be like, all right guys, like it's club night, and they'll just get them all in a van and like go to like the local club or whatever, and a bunch of people just get real drunk and get in fights at the club.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
fights with each other or fights with
Fights with
club goers?
Fights with each other for
Okay.
sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So you mentioned while we were watching it that there was a rule that if you punch somebody, they are kicked off.
Yeah.
That's a dumb
the
fucking
show.
rule.
So it's definitely so for the safety of the competitors, like you can't just be punching people in the house and all these kinds of things. James doesn't like that rule.
Not at all.
But it basically kind of results in this strategy that people use sometimes where they'll try and get people real riled up at them and kind of get in their face. And if they get the other person to punch them, then that other person's out of the game.
I'm
So,
definitely very interested in the metagame of that.
yeah.
Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What if you just have a very punchable face? Are you going to win the challenge?
I
you're
can't believe
good
you're
enough.
not allowed to walk up to somebody in this show at any point in time and then challenge you a fight. And like if you challenge him like an official challenge fight, the loser goes.
Well, you basically can, and that's called.
No, because it's organized, but
And
whatever
that's
the stupid
called
game is
bull.
like, you and me right
Yeah.
now, we're gonna duke it out, and the loser goes home.
Yeah, and usually the way it gets resolved is like if that kind of thing happens, then like both people volunteer for the elimination, and like they'll deal with it in the elimination.
Oh, so that
basically.
eventually happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like it happens,
But then they have to do like whatever
people
dumb
don't really
challenge
people don't
event
really
it is.
volunteer for the eliminations that much. But sometimes something gets really heated and something like that happens.
I think it
It's
should
a
just
real
be
dumb
like
move,
the
but-
challenge rule. Like I walk up to you and like you and me right now, loser goes home.
So
There
you think,
needs to be like a challenge Thunderdome.
Right.
so do you think the other person has to agree, or at any time you can just
you can accept
just-
or bitch out.
And what happens if you bitch out?
Everyone in the house just judges you
Oh, okay.
that's how the show works.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's basically what happens when there's a fight. There is one person gets
No,
really
but whoever
angry, and then
swings,
the other
like-
person doesn't want to fight them. Is usually what happens.
No, because the other person is just egging them on to try to get them to hit them
Oh,
so that
yeah.
they go home.
Definitely.
Which is that's a bullshit move.
So you
Yeah.
want like a full-on duel? You want some like?
I want it to be like, all right, Max, you and me got a beef, right? And we're just yelling at each other. So instead of us just yelling at each other and getting drama for the TV, we actually fight, and the loser of that fight goes home.
You want some Burr Hamilton shit?
I don't know what that is.
Don't worry about it.
Are
Great
there,
reference then.
Are there
Nice.
weapons in this
I
fight?
got the
or is
reference.
it,
It's when the president and vice president literally dueled each other.
almost.
Yeah, literally
Wait,
almost.
so-
No, it actually happened, right?
It was the vice president shot the secretary of the treasury.
Oh,
my
I thought it was
God.
president, vice president. No,
No,
Neither of them
no.
was
Oh,
president.
okay.
So
Close.
if they go to the club and they start fighting, does that mean they get kicked out, or is like the club like a fight okay zone?
No, if you're in the club or the house, like if you hit somebody, you're gonna get. I mean, like especially if you punch someone in the face, you're gonna get thrown out.
I have a question. What if you kick them?
They're gonna make some kind. I don't know. They're gonna make some kind of determination on how bad it was. I guess.
What if you like murder them but you don't punch them?
if you harm
What
the
if I
competitors?
stabbed them?
There are still laws.
There's still laws. At the
Not in
challenge.
Thailand.
There are still some amount of laws in Thailand.
Yeah, it's true.
All
What
right.
if you do something that is a criminal offense, but it doesn't get you kicked off the challenge? What happens then?
I don't know. You know.
If you try to create your own utopia on the channel?
They try to overthrow TJ.
Yeah.
So I guess let's start this episode. Okay, so episode 1 starts out by all 18 people. Why there's so many fucking people on the show, I don't know. Get off this boat, and one person eats it.
Immediately.
With all her
Immediately.
clothes
Yeah.
getting wet.
All her shit gets wet into this deserted island in Thailand, and they go into this shack, and they're all pissed because they're not at like this McMansion with a pool.
and pina coladas.
Right.
Yeah.
That was somebody's that was what one
It's
dude
like I
said.
thought I was gonna be sitting up by the pool drinking a pina colada.
And then TJ rolls in. Says, "Oh, you guys thought you were going to be on vacation? Not
Tell-
today."
Tell me about
legend,
TJ.
BMX
I don't know,
legend
TJ.
TJ Lavin.
Who?
So he's
exactly.
apparently some BMX guy, but he's been hosting the challenge since its 11th season. So he's hosted 18 challenges.
That's only 9 years.
Yeah, but still, it's a lot of challenges.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He looks like sort of a 50-year-old among a bunch of 25-year-olds.
I think that when he started, he was closer in age to the competitors.
Okay.
But you know,
He looks like he's aging a bit rough. That the years are not
he's-
being kind.
He's
to him.
definitely aging a bit rough. Like a few seasons ago, like it wasn't clear if he was going to be able to be the host because he had some crazy like BMX crash or something.
Oh.
And when he came back from that, he was a little bit like.
Okay.
I mean, like he's been getting better, but he's like seemed like there was something happened.
But
Yeah.
basically, by now, it seems like TJ's famous for...
the challenge.
The
mostly.
challenge.
He's the most famous for
Not
the challenge.
BMX.
I
Like
think.
but like a few years ago, he was still doing BMX.
Oh, I
stuff.
think so.
He wasn't just living off his challenge.
That's what it seems like. That's the way it seemed like it was positioned on the show, at least.
Wait, so who's the guy that does Survivor? Because Survivor's been around for like
That's
40
Jeff
seasons.
Probst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looks great.
He's
in those
aging wonderfully.
cargo shorts.
Could we get a replay of that one? He looks great.
He's just wearing cargo shorts, hanging out on these islands.
Chris
Man,
loves
he's
a
got
guy
the
in cargo
best
shorts, as it
gig.
turns out.
That's all I wear.
Where do
Except
you
for
get
the
your cargo
jeans.
shorts, Chris?
I get them from Under Armour because Under Armour is, supporting the show we watched, and
Solid answer.
yeah.
So I want to take a step back from the show. It's like Harrison, you've
Yeah.
watched a lot of Challenge,
I
unlike
have.
all the rest of us.
I have watched a good amount of the
and I
challenge.
get the feeling that you are a big fan of the Challenge. So tell us a little bit about what really makes you love the Challenge.
Yeah. So I guess I'm not sure how long it was. Maybe it was like a year or two ago at this point. Like I heard about the show The Challenge from Bill Simmons' podcast, where he had the most like the biggest challenge champion, this guy Johnny Bananas, on there, and he was kind of talking to him and like interviewing him.
This guy's real stage name is Johnny Bananas.
Johnny Bananas is,
Okay.
is what they calls him, and Bill Simmons at the time was like, yeah, like, I think that like the challenge should be like the 5th major sport in the U.S. and like he's like super into it. And then like they spent like this entire podcast basically talking about like challenge strategy, and I was like, I gotta check this show out because like it sounds like it has like this insane deep strategy, and it's a crazy show. And like I didn't even realize at the time it was the same as the Real World Road Rules thing that I'd seen like forever ago. So like I watched a season of it and it was pretty good show, and then I proceeded to watch every season of it that was on Hulu until it got taken off recently. So yeah, it's pretty good mindless show to watch. Like I think that it gets better the more you watch it because like of the relationships and like the stories and the history that goes across all these different seasons. So you kind of like have a lot deeper relationship with the people who are kind of coming back to compete on the show than you do with most of these shows who usually it's just all new cast every season.
Sure. There is another season of the challenge that I have not watched, but I have heard about from Harrison, where, okay, so on this season, like, you have people competing to get to this house, and then they're there, and there's a bunch of, like, champions there. Previous seasons, they have that, but then you get to the house, and all of your exes are there.
Yeah.
That's so nuts.
Yeah, so like basically every season has like a different theme. Yeah, so there's like the Battle of the Exes, where like you're paired up with your ex from like a previous season or something. You have to compete with them. There's like Rivals, where you have to like compete with your rival. They had this like Battle of the Bloodlines one where they took a bunch of challenge veterans and they brought in like a family member to compete with them. So they have like all these different themes. So this season is this Invasion of the Champions theme. So that's kind of why the game is structured this way. But like season to season, like the structure of the game and the rules of the game change. Even like episode to episode, like things kind of go differently. So there's definitely no real standard set of rules or anything.
So the current challengers think it's, newcomers only. That's
They think
the
it's
theme.
newcomers only. Well, no, not newcomers only, but people who've never won before.
Yeah. No winners only.
Because there's still there's this one girl who's on the show right now, Jenna, who she's like, I think it's like her 4th challenge, but she's been in like 3 finals out of her 4 challenge. So like she's almost won like 3 times, but she hasn't cracked it yet.
That's rough.
She's failed.
Yeah, that's right.
I did like when TJ came out for the first time, the sort of love and awe in all their eyes and faces. They saw like, oh, it's TJ! Ah! Like that was just.
Well, they just wanted him to take him to the McMansion.
I guess
TJ
that's true. It seemed more than that though. It seemed like there was like a deep, deep love there.
There was some, but I feel like all they wanted was like, why are we here? Get me out of here.
Like TJ is definitely held in great respect by challenge competitors, and like one thing that we saw a little bit of this time, but which if you watch the show more, you will learn that TJ Lavin hates quitters. Like basically, he's totally okay with you if you try your hardest and you don't make it and you fail or you're passing out in the mud or whatever. But if you quit, he will berate you and give you a bunch of shit basically. And then you will never be on the challenge again, effectively.
Oh, so he's also like a producer.
I mean, like
He gets a lot to say.
I mean, it seems like he has influence. I don't know if he's a producer, but like the way it usually seems to go is if you quit and TJ gives you a bunch of shit for it, then you're usually not back in the challenge.
Huh. Has anyone ever like hit TJ in the face?
I haven't seen anybody try to fight TJ before. Everyone generally likes TJ.
Huh.
Yeah.
Seems like when he's just berating you though, just be like, I'm just gonna knock that dude out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you tried to punch him, the rest of the people might defend TJ.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
Like,
Sounds like a good twist.
yeah.
Do they have to have a future season where all the contestants are former quitters?
That would
And
be
TJ's just like
Just
berating
getting
them
them.
all the whole time. Like, I don't know why we let you back on this show.
Yeah.
And you're
It's
disgraced.
real.
What's TJ ever done?
BMX legend.
Yeah, some say.
Do they have to have a future season where all the contestants are just TJ?
Oh.
So
I'll be honest. I
Are
don't
we-
like TJ at all.
Are we talking about?
man.
Are we saying that? Spoilers. Bruno. That he like quit. He's never coming back.
Let's talk about Bruno for a second.
Bruno's not coming back.
Bruno's definitely not coming back. Let's talk about Bruno.
Wasn't
he
Bruno
needs
the one that
money,
lost?
Though.
Yeah, he lost.
So why is it a question?
Bruno has been living out of his Jeep, and he decided the best thing to do with his life was to go on the challenge.
He's gotta win
Season
that money.
29.
To be fair, like as far as opportunities for homeless people go, being on an MTV reality show is not like that bad of an opportunity if you're homeless.
I guess, like, if you're not there to make the money,
Right. I mean, if you're homeless, like at least during the period of the show, you have somewhere to live, and they're giving you
That's-
food and clothes and
that's
stuff.
true.
Like,
That's a good point. Yeah, I was just like,
Like,
I was
yeah.
coming at it from the direction of this guy's here to turn his life around, and that seems like a
it doesn't seem like a great life
It's
turning
not
around
a
plan.
life turnaround kind of event. It's more like I get food and shelter.
yeah.
And
I
a
get
bunch
to-
of new Under Armour clothes.
And I get to maybe be famous if I do well, and maybe be on these things in the future.
Hey,
Yeah.
he's got 5
he's-
dudes talking about him right now.
That's right. That's right.
And he's not homeless right now. So look at
Well,
out.
he wasn't
Yeah.
homeless.
He
we
wasn't.
all know about right now, but
Oh, he was homeless.
he was homeless when he came on the challenge.
I don't know.
All he had was a Jeep and a gym membership because he got.
He definitely had a gym membership.
He's ripped.
He's definitely been able to afford protein. Okay, let's put it that way.
You're not looking at that guy away with no protein.
Yeah, he looks insane. He looks like he spends all his time at the gym.
A lot of these people look like they spend all their time at the gym.
Who was the one who was giving the interview and the veins were just bulging out of his forearms just while he was just talking to the camera?
I think that was Shane.
That was Shane.
They really haven't focused that much on Shane. Like most reality shows, like you'll notice that like if there's stuff happening around that person, they spend a lot more time with them and talking to them. Like wasn't a lot of Shane stuff this episode, so you didn't really get to, or these 2 episodes, you didn't really get to see what's going on with him.
There's an
but
insane amount of people on the show right now.
a lot of people.
There's like
I don't
it's
know
in-
who all the people are.
I
for
can't.
sure.
I could tell you like the only people who were in the elimination. I don't know anyone else.
Tony, Big Tony.
Yeah, Big T.
Well, I know Nicole. Nicole was great because she was the one who, was the first day on the island was very emotional because before she left, her girlfriend had been like, "You have to choose what's more important to you. Is it me or the challenge?" And she chose the challenge.
There
yeah.
she is.
Yeah. Of course.
That was a great start for
Hey,
me.
you gotta live your life.
Yeah, I don't
Priorities.
understand that priority right there. Like, I'd rather go on this shitty MTV reality show than love you. Like, what is
Well,
this?
Well,
The
you gotta think of the other
explanation-
side of it though too.
yeah, I understand.
The
The
explanation was-
ultimatums are bullshit, and that
Yeah.
ultimatum is definitely very bullshit.
The explanation was if she was really in love with me and she really cared about me, she'd support whatever I needed to do.
Yeah.
And I need to do the challenge. So
Why does she need to do the challenge?
when you have an opportunity, like she was already on the real world, so she's already crossed the bridge into being on reality TV. And like when you have when you have the opportunity to just extend like on some of that fame, like it's not like it's hard to blame her for it. Like
Definitely.
I mean, I could totally see wanting to be on, the
Yeah.
challenge, and breaking up with somebody for giving you an ultimatum.
yeah,
It's just like, you've made your choices here. You don't need to be crying.
that's true. Yeah.
Which definitely seemed like filmed later and not like the same night that they got there.
Oh really?
It's always hard to tell with
Who
those
knows?
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, do we have anything to say about between when they get there and when the first challenge happens?
Not really. I guess the only other thing to say is like, so TJ tells them there's no former winners. They're all get chance. They're all really excited about that.
he specifically says there's no winners here.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then
You're all
It
losers.
cuts to champ training cam or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And there's 8 former winners. This Johnny Bananas guy and a bunch of other people who Harrison knows that we don't know.
Yep.
Just random people.
It's the most MTV shit because like they all got like these selfie sticks with these fisheye cams, and they got these stupid editings. Like you know how you go and see a movie and like there's this certain filter you use that's like this is definitely a camera filter.
Right. Yeah.
They got all that going on,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
like it's unplugging a TV or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I before this season I knew who all the champions were except for I think his name's Darrell. I think he's just from like an earlier season that was not on Hulu that I have not watched. So
he's a 4-time champ.
he is a 4-time champ.
So he's an old time, and
I-
it's this big comeback.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he's on the
interesting.
Champions Tour. Yeah. That's right.
So yeah, so at some point in the season, they're gonna reveal to the non-champion contestants that the champions come in. That's why this season's called the Invasion.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And like the basic way that it goes, and I don't want to like spoil anything, it's pretty obvious how it's going to go, but like you earn a spot in the Oasis either by winning a challenge or winning an elimination.
Did we explain what the Oasis is yet?
Oh, the Oasis is the
McMansion,
is
as
the
Chris calls it.
McMansion super nice house that they're usually in for these kinds of things, right?
Yeah, and TJ tells them they have to earn their way into the Oasis.
You got to earn your way. So like in like previous seasons of the challenge, like there have been people who've made it like all the way to the finale, just kind of not ever winning a challenge, not ever getting eliminated, like because they just kind of like coast through and they never have to really compete in anything. So this is kind of like aiming to fix that problem. So like you either have to win a challenge or win an elimination to get your spot in the house, and then basically once like kind of all the people are either out or have a ticket to the house, that's when the champions are going to roll in.
So the champions just at the house when they roll up?
Yeah, basically like they all get to the house at the same time basically, and it's like, oh, these dudes are here or whatever. Yeah.
Have we explained what the actual challenge, like in the context of the show, is yet?
No.
I don't think we have. We've been referring to it a lot. Maybe we should get a little.
Basically,
quick hit.
the kind of cycle of normal challenge episodes are like everybody competes in this challenge. The people who win the challenge are
Which the challenge, to be clear, is like a competition,
Yeah.
like head to head
it's some
kind of
kind
style.
of it's some kind of either physical challenge or a puzzle challenge or a trivia challenge, or it's some kind of like
How many times are you gonna say it's a
say
challenge?
challenge a lot.
Bro.
'cause that's just what
Yo,
it is.
bro.
Tricky game.
It's a challenge, bro.
Bro, can we, give them an example of the first challenge we saw, bro?
So in the first challenge,
Bro.
basically people like there was this gigantic like bamboo wall. So the first thing they had to do was they had to like dig up dirt with these buckets and kind of pack it like against the wall, and then they have to climb up and over this bamboo wall. And like the next part, they have to like dig under the next wall and kind of climb under it, and then they have to figure out like some kind of rope puzzle at the end.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like typical of what one of those will be. So like you get the two people who win are safe from the elimination. The two people who lose, who are like guy and a girl, are automatically in the elimination. And then in this particular season, this episode, like the way that the other two people get determined, because you need to have two guys and two girls in the elimination, is a vote from the house. So then there's like a bunch of politicking and like
Or
kind of
politicking.
or politicking, as Ashley explained.
James, what is politicking? In Ashley's vernacular.
Oh, and Ashley's. Whew. I think she basically said it's playing politics with your vagina, if I can get that quote right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, nailed it.
basically having sex with people in the house to try and get ahead in the game.
Right.
So there's definitely a lot of aspects to the game. The like who you sleep with and if you sleep with people is definitely an element to the game. Sometimes people try and sleep with people to get ahead. Sometimes, like in some previous like Corey, for example, in this season, he's like man, I came into the season saying that I wasn't gonna go for any of these girls, so I gotta stay focused on the game. But these girls are too hot, and he's hitting on everyone. So like,
he just keeps saying he's a ladies man.
So he knows that it's dangerous to get distracted and tangled up in this situation, but he can't help himself, basically.
Specifically, he says, these females got me going crazy.
Yeah, these females.
Who says that?
Corey.
You did,
Bro.
So.
Well, I'm quoting. It's fine.
So the other part about this with the like hot people's of that is that everyone keeps talking about who their top 3 in attractiveness is.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing this up.
It had to come up.
It had to.
You're in everyone's top 3, man.
Yeah, so
Everyone's
that's what
top
Corey
3.
was telling this one girl. It was like, everybody told me you're in all their top 3,
Yeah,
and then they
yeah.
make out.
Yeah. Oh,
Didn't
man.
they also later bang in the trees?
That's a good question. Did they actually bang in the tree?
There was some rustling of the
I-
trees in the
Really
darkness.
seems like they,
Yeah.
A, they probably were. B, jungle sex doesn't seem that great, especially next to a sandy beach.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah,
Not
a
good.
lot of sand going on,
Ugh.
sand fleas and bugs and things.
Definitely a lot better situation
Sand
once they're in the house.
So normally in the challenge in the house, there's a lot of banging going
Definitely,
on.
banging is a key part of the game.
Are there like dedicated
Some
banging
people do it for
rooms?
strategy. Some people just get
Like Corey,
just,
caught up
just
in it.
get sucked into it. But it's a key part of the game,
Yeah,
and it affects the game for sure.
Is there a banging room?
It's wherever you want it to be.
Does
Because
it
I feel
ever-
like there was a banging room in the Jersey Shore.
Oh, really?
in one of their seasons.
Wasn't that just a confessional room, and then somebody banged in the confessional room, and they're like, "Oh, dude, I can't believe you banged
No,
somebody
I
in the
can't,
confessional
dude."
room."
I don't know. I don't really remember.
I don't know. That's probably a thing.
It's been a while.
Has it ever devolved just into like a whole orgy with all the people at the same time?
I have never personally seen that on the
Okay.
show, but I'm not saying it hasn't happened.
Fair.
Yeah.
The historian over here.
My limited my knowledge is a little bit limited if you take it in the context of 29 seasons, but I have seen a lot of seasons.
So, James, who's your top 3?
So I was kind of curious if we're doing individual top 3 or try to like a group top 3.
Oh, my top 3 is no one. Everyone's just terrible.
Wow. I mean, I will give a shout out to Ashley because mostly that butt shot.
Oh, when she just come over the first wall.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Sure.
Also, I kind of like Kayla. She seems pretty cool.
Yeah, Kayla.
Kayla,
like she seems pretty
Kayla
good and
is in
competitive.
everyone's top 3.
Kayla's in everyone's
That's true.
top 3.
That's true.
Might not be inaccurate.
I feel like I didn't watch enough to know who would be in my top 3 because like there's just so many people.
A lot of people.
You just
There's-
named everybody I know on the show.
You just
so-
got to say any name, people. Just it's not that
I
hard.
mean, Kayla is definitely up there.
I think
Okay.
Jen is pretty attractive.
I don't know who
Silence
that is,
from the
but
crowd.
sure.
Well,
That's the
Nah.
blonde
she wasn't
girl.
there
I'm
that
trying to
much.
remember who Jen
Yeah.
is.
Jen,
I have no idea.
Jen
who
is Jen is the blonde girl who's friends with Kayla that they're talking
Oh,
about.
and
yeah,
who's also
yeah.
come in like second place a bunch of
Yeah,
times.
yeah. She's the one who's
with
been
the
in the finals.
athlete
Yeah,
shirt.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, she's the one who's been in the finals a bunch of times. Too.
She seems like she knows what's going on with the show. She's like,
definitely-
you got to think about the long game here.
It's definitely not her first time out. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I have to say that all of the people are in the top 3. That's what it is. They're all attractive.
That's
Like,
that's
it's
an
not like-
interesting take.
It's hard
Sure.
to like for me to be like, this really attractive girl is like slightly more attractive than
So how do you
this
feel
one.
about Nicole,
Which one was Nicole?
the one with the crazy accent?
The Staten Island girl.
Oh,
She's attractive.
Okay.
Like she's
She's definitely in
she
good shape.
seemed like a lesbian, but like
she doesn't seem like it. She is.
she could be
just got off a
bi.
relationship.
I don't know.
That's true.
she's
That's fair.
she's definitely in good shape. I mean, they're all in good shape.
Yeah.
Like,
There's no way I could. Nah, Nicole,
about-
no way.
the voice is too annoying.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Just and the things she says are just the worst.
What if she promised not to talk?
Ooh, that'd be also awful in a weirdly different way.
Yeah.
Fair.
What about the challenge / Biggest Loser crossover, where they also got to become sexy so that other people have sex with them?
Oh man, maybe
Maybe.
It's a deep show.
deep show.
Just throw some more wrenches into there.
I got another pivot off of that, which
Oh.
is you take the Biggest Loser, take some people from there, take some people from the challenge, and the challenge people are the trainers for the people on the Biggest Loser.
Oh, yeah.
and they're uber competitive, right? So like their goal is to make third person be the best.
Sure.
I could totally see that being a challenge on the challenge where it's
Right.
like you have to coach this Biggest Loser person. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that being kind of interesting.
The Biggest Loser season of the challenge.
Oh man.
The Biggest Loser challenge.
I think that one of my other favorite parts about the challenge is like how seriously everyone who's there treats it. Like there are a lot of competition reality shows where like not everyone there is really serious about it, but like everyone who's there either has some crazy story about why they really need the money or they're just crazy competitive and they're just like, I'm not thinking about anything but winning.
Oh, yeah.
like, for the most part.
What was the one dude that was like a Division One football player or something?
Theo, yeah,
Oh,
Theo.
that was fuck.
I didn't really catch what the injury was, but
He
I
was-
guess he had some kind of
no,
injury.
No, he wasn't
No.
injured.
Oh no! Yeah, okay.
He got caught with marijuana. Like him and his roommate in college got caught with marijuana, and he got his scholarship taken away. And I was like, I got like
Now he's in-
$40,000
yeah.
in student loan debt, and I don't know what to do now.
60,000.
$60,000 in student
fuck.
loan debt.
It's like
Yeah.
you probably should
Thanks,
get a job.
Max.
Yeah,
Step one: achieve job.
yeah.
Was Theo the one masterminding everything with the votes, or was
That was Nelson.
that was Nelson? Sorry,
Nelson.
yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Theo did receive a lot of votes. He got 3 votes compared to Tony, who got 4 to go.
Theo's
to
a
go in.
rookie, and he just keeps on walking around saying like, yeah, put me in. I don't give a fuck. I'm a rookie. I don't give a fuck. So that's why people were voting for him because like basically
Yeah.
it's a pretty easy option to vote for because like he's been saying he wants to go in kind of. So
He wants to get to that Oasis.
wants to get to that Oasis.
Tony was pissed he was voted in.
He certainly was. There was a whole situation and build-up with there were like 4 people there who were on the same season of The Real World, and like 3 of them were tight and were sticking together. And this one girl, Sylvia, she's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to win the challenge if I'm with the people from my season. Maybe I should go with like the majority of the house and vote with them. So she's very, very conflicted about it.
And she was the tie-breaking vote too.
She was.
So that was the,
she was the one that sent
She
Tony
wasn't
to the
really
elimination.
The tie-breaking vote. 'cause
Well,
she
the
was
producers
voted
set it
after
up
her.
that way.
Well, but like all the other people were already pretty divided into their factions, and she was the swing vote. She was the one who was going to go either
It's
way
true.
and
If
tip
she
it.
voted for Theo,
If she voted for Theo,
then it
Right.
would have been a tie.
yeah.
What
no,
happens if
it was
it's a tie?
3-3, and she was the last vote.
No,
No,
there was
there
some,
were- there were eight votes.
there was more vote
It was
after her.
5-3.
Oh, there was one vote. Okay, they kind of chopped it up to that it wasn't apparent.
Yeah, it
but-
would have been a tie if she
Yeah,
voted for.
I mean, it's reality show editing.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They totally got me. God damn it,
They
MD.
got you, James.
What
Fuck you,
happens if it's
MTV.
a tie?
Does
Does that ever happen?
I don't know. I'm
What if they
I'm
just
trying to think.
throw all of them in?
I feel like TJ
I'm not
or the
sure.
people that eliminated get to pick.
I'm not
Oh,
sure.
the-
I'm not
the
sure what
eliminated
happened.
person getting to pick. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it could be something like
Ooh.
that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because they didn't get to vote. Nothing.
Yeah, but then it's the eliminated person going to be basically like, you.
Yeah.
That's who I'm going against. I mean, I could, yeah.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
So yeah.
I feel like I mean, we're gonna skip. Let's talk about the elimination challenge.
Yeah.
What's the thing? It's like the first episode was all like the setup and everything, and then the first challenge. So there was like a decent amount going on in the first episode. Second episode was just all the
It was a little-
politicking and
yeah.
politicking, and it just went on forever. We were
Oh,
like,
man.
please give us this elimination.
It was a
challenge.
little light on
Really
content
slow.
for sure. Yeah.
I will say the elimination challenge was actually a pretty awesome event, though.
Yeah.
I really like that part. All of the stuff leading up to it was just drama filled and
Hey,
dragging.
Were you just
but-
happy because they actually got to fight finally?
Yeah, I mean, mostly that.
Yeah.
It's
And
pretty
like
good.
a big thing with the elimination challenges is like they really seem to like design them in such a way that like the person who wants it more is gonna win, and like sometimes sometimes it's like kind of about strength and it's kind of about like agility and it's kind of about maybe problem solving, but like it's kind of always like something that's pretty hard and it's gonna take a little while, and like it
seems like endurance is key.
Who's gonna want it more, and like endurance for sure.
Yeah.
So-
So I actually really liked the elimination, like the game
Yeah.
that it was. Like there was a lot of interesting like strategy and stuff I thought that could happen there.
The people coming up with these games,
Yeah.
they're interesting. I
Yeah.
like that aspect a lot.
So
Simple,
this
yeah.
challenge was they had 5 bags on one side and 5 bags on the other side.
Sand
These
Filled-
big, these
filled with
big like
sand.
heavy sandbags. Yeah.
Heavy sandbags. They had one person on one end, one person on the other end.
Yep.
In this little trench.
In a
kinda.
Well,
little
and they're in,
trench.
like, a sand
they had to
pit.
run back and forth. There was
Right.
very little room, and they had to get all of the bags on their side, which is
All
the
10
side
bags.
they started with.
Right.
So they start by running on both sides and trying to get all the the bags from the other side to your side. The other person does the same thing.
With full football pads on base. Well, I mean,
near.
yeah,
Like,
I mean
basically
like shoulder pads,
shoulder, elbows,
and then the
and
helmet.
shoulder.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shoulder, elbows, helmet, knee pads, and like they're going
And
at
contacts allowed.
Yeah.
And encouraged.
it for sure.
Especially right at the start when they're not tired yet and they're just laying into each other.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
Oh.
girls definitely just tired themselves out immediately.
Yeah.
They
There's
were,
a
like,
huge
done.
wrestling match to kick that thing off by the
Yeah.
girls.
I mean, like it's like the strategy is to wear the other person out. Like it's a long game, right? Like for sure.
I was surprised nobody like went for like a leg sweep or something. Just try to like
Just knock them off.
yeah. I don't know.
There definitely wasn't a lot of strategy for either people. They were just like, "Let me run over there, grab them, get back,
Yeah, they kinda
interfere with them." I'm like,
Yeah, they kind of spring it on you right there too. So yeah,
it's just like, well, maybe you should try to prevent them from stealing your bags because they're on your side.
Right.
But no one ever did any of that.
I feel like this game would be really interesting if each side had 2 people.
yeah.
'Cause then you could, like, have some strategy.
It would
They-
take way too long.
I was watching this and I thought it looked like Dota. It was very
Kinda.
interesting.
So they actually had like in a previous season they had like a game that was similar to this that was a 2-on-2 game, and basically the way it was is there was like a big like kind of plus sign looking like court.
Sure.
It's kind of like dug down, like they're kind of trenches dug down through, and it's all dirt, and it's like pretty deep and like steep walls, and almost like a big like half pipe kind of like on either
Sure.
side kind of, and each side like each team had like a certain number of like balls, and they kind of had to like get all the balls on like one side. But basically, like what was happening is like they were running through running down these big slopes through the middle, and people were just colliding like where the paths are crossing at full
Oh.
speed. Like it was a really really crazy elimination. That was a CT and Bananas and some other people in that one. That was a big one. Oh yeah.
I've never done like
Well-
things
well-
where yeah. I was just like wondering, is it always just like on foot? Are there ever like a situation where like on skateboards or like
Oh, yeah, no,
a
there's-
bike or like something like a surfboard or something?
Yeah. There's definitely stuff like that too.
I was just curious if
BMX
there was like
Legend Challenge?
right?
Yeah, I mean, like they've definitely had some stuff like that. A lot of it is kind of like on your feet or like climbing stuff or yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So there was no like strategy. I feel like you could have easily been like, how about not leave all your bags in a clump so people could just run up and grab them, or like
Yeah.
put them on the floor so like people have to like pick them up.
It,
like there's nothing. They didn't try at all.
I
It-
just kept yelling for somebody to just take the bags off your fucking thing and throw them or something. Like, don't just
Start
leave
heaving
bags
them.
on it.
Yeah.
Or like go to the other dude's thing and take all their bags off.
Yeah,
and
wait
throw
for
up,
them to
like-
come
They-
try to take bags from your place. Once
Yeah.
they have them, just like
The
freaking take them from their hands.
the guys definitely started like spreading the bags out on their side a little bit, so it was a little bit hard to grab them. But like that was kind of it. Like
That was the extent of their
yeah,
strategy
for sure.
And like the one guy was just so much bigger than the other guy.
Tony
and
was-
just like
Tony's
he just had
definitely
way
way-
more endurance apparently, and just like creamed him.
Yeah,
However they edited this, I don't really.
it seemed
you know,
like he wrecked him.
It
though.
seemed like it. I mean,
it seemed like Bruno was putting up a good fight, but like Tony was just moving. Like his pace was way quicker.
It's got good endurance. Yeah.
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 It was interesting. I thought the elimination game was like the highlight
Yeah.
of the. Both
Oh, no
shows.
doubt.
It's like they're definitely like more physically intense like challenges than normal reality shows on things. Like, and just like for some context, like at the end of this, when there's some number of people left and it varies based upon season, they have like a finale and they go to like a different location for the finale, and then it's some crazy shit that like hey, you guys got to climb this entire huge mountain, or like, and with like a bunch of like like little challenges along the way. So like the actual final is like a big like physical feat basically.
it does seem like I mean, we haven't watched too many of these type of reality shows.
Yeah.
But like Survivor reality, these are way tougher. Like there's not like climbing over walls and getting that like going under walls. Like you don't really see a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And like I actually thought the first challenge was really interesting because it was like personal, but like you needed to do teamwork to get over the wall, and like it definitely created a lot of drama.
Yeah,
It
when
definitely-
Ashley just burned everybody as the first one over and just like, help us out, Ashley. And she's just like, see ya, suckers. It's
was-
an individual competition.
It was definitely an interesting way to create some drama first challenge
Right.
by making them like work with other people in an individual thing. Like
I mean, before the first challenge, it was like the show was edited like everyone was getting along, whether they were or not, we don't know. And then right after that, immediate drama because of how people like helped certain people out and not others. And like somehow there were two teams because not everyone could put their dirt buckets under one because there was like 18 of you.
Yeah.
There's just like a lot of people.
I mean, like, I think that like this show has fine-tuned so much stuff about like reality competition shows because
Yeah.
they've had so much time to do it, and like I think it's pretty obvious in like the quality of the production, and like in like the situations that they're able to set up because they've just been at it for so long, like working on it.
Then again, that first challenge, we were saying like it wasn't really clear exactly what they were trying to do. Like,
For the last part of the challenge, for
especially-
sure.
yeah, especially with the rope
yeah,
part,
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
I think most
I
of that was just they
understood.
filmed it not super well. Like the
Oh,
camera
yeah.
work was not
yeah,
clear
but you're
as to
talking
what
about the
was
great
happening.
production value.
Sure,
and,
no,
like, the
totally.
camera work's
Well,
not
I think what
great.
Harrison-
I feel like that's
yeah.
a little.
Oh yeah, no.
So like,
You're right on that.
I thought more what you were saying was like the production value of like the game and like how the mechanics of things
Yeah,
work and
yeah,
like
yeah.
the situations to like create drama.
Yeah,
I
pretty
think
much.
is where you were kind of
yeah,
going.
exactly. Not necessarily the camera work, but
Right.
like I mean, camera work's usually okay.
Right.
But yeah.
Like it was generally fine for those stuff, but like the first one specifically, we're all like, "What
Yeah.
the hell is going on with this
And, like,
rope thing?"
the-
Like we have no idea.
The games that they do are usually pretty simple, so it's usually pretty easy to follow. That one was just a little bit like it was kind of hard to tell like why it was hard or like what was going on for
Right.
sure.
And
yeah.
there was just a shitload of people. There was like 18 people running
yeah,
around.
Yeah, it was just like
It's very
knots
chaotic.
in a rope, and you're like, how do you film that anyway? It's just like you
Yeah.
just film people like fiddling with rope, and it's just like that's not interesting.
yeah, for sure.
Who was
Create a
the-
lot of drama, but it just wasn't an interesting thing to watch.
It was-
like
it
them
was-
going over the walls and under the walls
Yeah.
was interesting.
Yeah, the rope knots thing ended up being more interesting game wise than actually watching it. Like
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty nuts challenge, especially since like each kind of like knot that they had was like different. There were like 4 or 5 different ones you could choose.
You definitely
Right.
just get fucked if you choose the wrong one. It's not a great
It seemed
challenge.
like it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe part of it is knowing the right one to choose, though.
I
I don't know
want
if you can.
I want to go off on a tangent real quick.
Yeah.
So when Spike TV first launched in the U.S., they had the show called MXC, Most Extreme Elimination
Yeah, yeah,
Challenge.
yeah.
Great show.
You guys have seen it.
Yeah.
We should watch it after this.
It's a good show.
I just want to plug that. It's a great show, and it has challenge in the name.
Should we do a Hoop with the Sun on MXC?
It's not reality, though.
Isn't it?
You're right,
I
it is.
feel like the original show.
a game
that it's
show.
making fun of
Takeshi's
is-
Castle? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for the tangent.
Happy to help.
All right. Is there much more to say about the 2 episodes we watched?
I don't think so. I think that's pretty much.
All right. Harrison, without going into too many spoilers,
Yeah.
you've seen more of this
I've
season.
seen. I'm current on this season,
Are you?
and it's
you know,
recommended.
It's recommended.
It's been good. It's been a good
does it
season.
pick up?
Yeah, it definitely picks up, and like particularly once the champions come in, like it definitely picks up even more.
Is that do they do that well? Is that a good moment?
It's it's art. I mean, like, I think that there's
It's all right.
So
is
you-
what I got there.
you heard like a couple like a group of people in this episode like talking about like some previous like oh man, like this guy, like whatever. So like these people know who they are, and when they walk in, so like the biggest champion guy is this guy called CT, is this huge looking dude, and when they walk in, basically one of the dudes turns like it's like oh man, that's C fucking T, dude. It's just like oh man, like he's basically
Like,
like
are they
basically
asking
pooping
for his
pants.
autograph? Like,
Yeah.
yo, sign this for me, man. You're so cool.
Yeah, like when they walk in, they're basically pooping their pants. Just like because then yeah. So I don't want to give out any spoilers about who's
Okay.
there when that happens,
No,
but
that's
yeah.
How do you think this season is comparing to other seasons you've watched? What's the best season
Oh.
you've watched?
The best season I watched was the last season was Rivals 3, and I think
Rivals
that
3.
like there were so many like I think that like the history really came into play a lot on that one because it was the Rivals season, and there's like
Okay.
like every pair of people basically has some insane backstory, and I thought it was really interesting the way they did all that stuff.
Does anybody, instead of being rivals, become like best buds with their rival?
That definitely happens.
That's cool. I like that.
In true reality show fashion. Yeah.
So, would you recommend starting with that one, or do you got to build up the
Gosh.
history so you
So-
know the rivalries for some of them at least?
I think the first one I started with was Rivals 2, which was the previous incarnation of it, and which like they did a pretty good job in like the little clip packages of like informing you about like the history of the relationship, so it wasn't too rough to start with. But I think that was the one I started with, but
Okay.
I can kind of jump in anywhere, you know.
How many of these can you watch in a row before you can't handle anymore? Because it seemed like today it was
Yeah.
pretty collectively like after 2 we were not watching a third.
But
we're-
the second episode wasn't
yeah.
good. That was part
Second
of the
episode
problem.
wasn't a good episode. Also, we're also stop and starting a lot too. I think if like, you're really kind of like in there watching it, then
So,
it might
so you've
be.
done some binging on this.
I've-
What's the most shows you've seen consecutively?
Have you watched the whole season? in
No.
a row?
Like like most I've seen is sitting is probably like 3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where does this place in your in our rating system here? Top third,
Oh, we're doing that.
middle third, bottom third. Harrison,
I mean, I think you know my answer. I like the show a lot. It's top third. I watch every week. Yeah.
Rob, you know where you're putting this?
I think I'm feeling middle third. Like there was nothing like where you watch a show be like I cannot like this show is driving me crazy. I want to turn it off right now. But also there wasn't anything particularly like oh that was really cool, that was interesting. It felt because I used to watch a lot of Survivor. It just sort of felt like oh I've seen this kind of show before. Just
Yeah.
with not as much alcohol.
It's definitely like a pretty different feel with the shelter stuff for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe like a different challenge doesn't feel as much like
Yeah,
Survivor.
it could be.
So I'm sort of on the fence between top and middle, but I'll go ahead and throw it in top, just because I could see watching some more shows, but I could also see getting really annoyed with it and dropping it down. So
Yep.
I'm gonna throw it in the top for now.
For me, a solid middle. It has some like really interesting aspects, especially the challenges and eliminations. But just all the like yelling and fighting and all that classic MTV bullshit, I'm kind of over it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So as most people know, most of my things end up in
the bottom.
bottom.
Which is
It's a big third.
Big third.
It's a big third. So like this show is definitely clearly, I think, middle. But like in terms of all the shows we watch, it's definitely in the top third of the shows we watched. Like I just hate reality show editing. Like the second episode definitely falls
Oh yeah.
into that trap. Whereas the first episode, I didn't really realize it too much. I don't know if like an episode where like, you know, they actually have the challenge and the elimination challenge in the same one.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why they decided to stretch that second episode like that. Like, basically, I think that what happened is like they needed all the setup time in the first episodes. They really only had time for the challenge, and then they're like, "Well, we gotta get back in like the right cycle, so we'll just do an episode that just has the elimination and like."
Do, do they fix it in later episodes?
I think so. I can't remember.
I have a question.
It's also kind of random sometimes too.
So we were just talking about our top thirds. Is that what they mean by the top three?
Top three.
Because there's 9.
There's 9, yeah.
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 So
you're right.
They're just asking who's in your top third.
There you go.
They stole that shit from
they're
us.
Using our
Yo,
rating
pay up,
system.
MTV. You owe us for that shit.
I did on Chris's point, like, you know, we watched this. There was no commercials, and sometimes you watch reality TV shows, no commercials. It's like the commercial breaks are super crazy. How like it just there's this big like logo part, and then it sort of replays like the last minute over again. And this one, like, it was pretty smooth transition of like there was clearly a cut, but you know, a lot of time it just sort of kept going.
Yeah, there was no on that kind of reality show editing. There wasn't a lot. There was definitely no recap.
It was a lot more minimal for sure. I'd agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
I
was
think
like-
by most reality show standards, this one was
There was like
better
at most like a 10-second recap of whatever
Yeah.
happened,
yeah,
and it wasn't every.
it wasn't
Yeah.
every one.
But like the manufactured drama is just like what gets to me. And like with this show and Survivor, I have a problem with like, okay, it's all about the drama and people colluding and non-colluding, but you don't ever get to see it all. So like you can't ever really predict what's going to happen. Like I have no idea who people are going to vote for because like
Yeah.
you got to see a little bit of it, but not a lot. And then it's just not that interesting.
Right. You saw like about 30 seconds of one random conversation on the beach, and you're like, oh, I guess that person's mad at somebody, but I don't really have the full story.
Exactly.
That's all
So
you get.
like that's probably what keeps it off the top third. And I do think it's entertaining. I would probably give episode 3 an actual shot where I wouldn't with most of the shows we
Right.
watch.
Right. Yeah.
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 I feel Chris saying I would give another episode a shot
That's-
is high praise.
pretty
for
good.
his
That's pretty good.
standards.
That's pretty
No,
good.
no.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
why, that's why it's so hard. Like it's definitely middle, but like it's itching its way towards the top.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And like, it is, from my experience, certainly a show that gets better the more that you watch it. That's just my personal
Right.
experience.
We
with
start
it.
knowing who all the people are, and it's kind of interesting because a lot of the people are repeat people. So
Yeah.
like you just start to know
that like that is the thing that makes it feel more like a quote unquote sport than anything else, is that it's not new players every season. Like there were veterans in there, right?
yeah.
It seems like a better reason to have so many seasons than Survivor, which just like they generally just have all new people on, or like if the gimmick is bring people back, then
yeah,
you
Survivor
know.
has
Right.
seasons where just like they bring people back.
All
but-
stars.
But this seems to be like every season. Like
Every
there's a
se-
good contingent of people coming
Every
back.
season is an all-star season. They just
Yeah.
take the best people from every season and just put them on, basically. Like,
And I feel like that might also get old after a while too.
yeah. I mean,
it's-
yeah.
Which I guess is why they do like the bloodline or rivals thing. And
Yeah,
like,
they have to
mix
change
up
it
a little
up, and
bit.
like there's like, you know, it's different this season because they're starting with all these kind of people who haven't been on the show as much, but like there's usually like a core kind of like, you know, 5 or 6 people who are pretty much on every season, and then like the rest of them kind of are like shuffling a little bit.
So is it usually like 26 people or whatever, or is it usually just 18?
No,
including-
it's usually just 18
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, they're like just like it's usually just starting from the point where they're in the house, basically.
So it's like they're trying to condense half the show, like a whole season in half a show or something. Like because they've got to
I'm not
get from
sure-
18 down to like 8 or 9,
and then bring another 6 or 8 back.
and then bring another 8 in, and then have a whole season.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not exactly sure.
It's kind of like it's
if
a
the
prelude,
season's
right?
going to be longer, like this part's basically like the qualifier for the season.
Yeah.
Right. Like
But like when they showed the clips of the champions, it definitely seemed like sometimes it's like a pair wins. Sometimes like a group of multiple people winning.
Oh, yeah.
Like we don't know what the number they need to get down to win is.
Well,
either.
We don't really know what the format of the show is yet, which is crazy, but like that's kind of how it is.
It's also what makes it kind of interesting. The fact
Yeah.
that like it's not defined, but it also can change, is my understanding.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely.
So it's just like they keep tweaking it. So I'm like, who knows what the?
Yeah, like in that. Like in that Bloodline season, like the way that it was basically pitched is like, okay, it's going to be like a previous challenge competitor and a family member. You're just going to be competing the whole way with each other, and then at some point they basically did something where they changed it to a team game where it was like family versus like their bloodline, like in the middle of it somewhere. It's like they kind of mess around with it, and yeah.
Well, from what I can see, it seems like a male and a female will win this season. But
Right.
I don't know.
There's always at least one male and female winner, and then like how it's kind of matched up and who else wins is just different usually.
Well, they had in this show they had like a thing where the one guy won. It was like, are you going to split it with this girl or not? And he said
Slight spoilers. but yeah.
whatever.
Big spoiler.
Yeah.
Doesn't they spoil it for me? So
I
I'm
did spoil
spoiling
it for
it.
you.
It's true. If you watch the episode of the show,
Yeah.
So I'm spoiling it for everyone.
For sure.
He says no, and he buys a house.
Yeah.
So like,
What
was
a
that the
dick.
female
Yeah.
winner, or is that just like some other girl?
So basically the context so that's the Rivals 3 season. So basically like the context in that one is like, he gets there and he's paired up with this girl Sarah, who's like his rival because on a previous season she had backstabbed him and voted him out in some critical situation or whatever. So now so he's hated her and now they're paired up and they're rivals. And then it kind of goes and goes and goes, and like they're doing really well because they're both pretty good and they're athletic, and they're kind of becoming closer and like kind of being more friends again. And then they make it to the final together, and they're gonna run the final. And they basically say, okay, well here's how like the final's gonna work this time. There's gonna be there were 3 teams of 2, so there's gonna be like a first, second, and third, and along the way there were kind of little like mini like activities that your team had to complete, but that you were also competing against your teammate on. So like if you win more of those little mini challenges, then you're the one that gets to decide if you're going to split the money with your partner or if you're going to keep it all. So basically like the thing finishes and there's kind of these like first, second, third place teams. Second and third place agree to split the money, and then it comes down to him, and he has the most points, and he fucks her and just says, I'm taking all the money, basically.
Man.
Yeah. It was a real.
Get to stab her in the back.
She was very like she was like heartbroken. It looked like it was really rough.
Are they still rivals now?
They are. I think if there's a Rivals 4, I think that they might be a team.
Got it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. I actually it was so bad that I don't even know if she'll actually be back on the show again. Like it was rough.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
But she could win money if
She
comes
could win
back.
money if she comes back. Yeah.
All right, so I'm assuming we've got really nothing else to say on the show.
Nothing.
I mean, I could talk all day about this show, but you don't want to hear me talk all day about this
but
show.
it seems generally we've got a pretty solid, mostly thumbs up around this for the
Solid
listeners
show.
out there.
Out of the shows we watched, this seems pretty solid.
pretty,
That's
pretty
pretty
solid.
surprising. There's only like a couple other shows. What was the?
I think the
there was that
Married at
one
First
married
Sight.
one. Yeah, I think that's
Whoa.
the.
90 Day
show.
Fiance.
No,
If you're getting married in strange circumstances, highly recommend making a show out of it.
There's got to be more shows like this now since those 2 were so good.
anyone want to plug something else or have anything else to say?
Oh, do we?
It's been a while.
Well, there's another TV show that some of us have been watching. Tell us a bit about 24 Legacy, Chris.
You mean the David Palmer Presidential Library podcast?
Well, I'm not watching that, but
I'm listening to it though. 24 Legacy, as I think we've plugged this before. Some
I
of
don't
us
know that we have.
I'm sure we've talked
before
about.
we did the very first Who Put This On podcast, we had done a podcast called the David Palmer Presidential Library on the 24 Live Another Day season that when they brought Kiefer back and they had 12 episodes in London. And then it went away again, had the new podcast of that, but now they brought 24 back, so we've actually been watching the new 24 and we've been doing the David Palmer Presidential Library podcast again, which is one of the reasons why we haven't done as much of this podcast. And Max, what's your review on 24 Legacy so far?
For a while there, it was looking really rough. We had like 2 episodes now that are acceptable.
What's the general pitch? So I haven't watched any of this or listened to your podcast.
What if?
So what's the general
What
pitch
a
on the
dick.
show?
What
I'm just
if-
being real. I'm keeping it 100, as some on the challenge
Yeah.
would say.
Theo.
What if they made 24, but with nothing you like?
Like at all?
What if there was
just
24?
everything I don't like.
What if there was 24, but there was no Jack Bauer?
The
Well,
stakes
it already
are
sounds
there-
terrible.
stakes are real low.
Is there a
Stakes
Chloe?
are extremely low. There's no Chloe.
There's no Chloe.
It is a.
They do have Tony Almeida.
Oh, Tony.
Spoilers.
Oh.
It's not like they spoiled the shit out of that during the Super Bowl.
That's true.
It is basically a show that takes place in the 24 universe, but
Okay.
which
CTU?
Jack Bauer
CTU.
at CTU, which
CTU.
Jack Bauer is not involved in.
So there's no Jack Bauer. Is there like mentioning of Jack Bauer? Like, oh, remember
Nope.
that guy
Not
that like
yet.
saved the world 8 times?
Not yet.
There is mentioning of Edgar Styles.
Edgar Stiles.
Who was a
former
character
CTU
in
analyst.
1 or 2 seasons.
Got it.
Yeah.
So is there like a new Jack Bauer? Like, is there like a
Yes.
main dude or
Dr. Dre.
The guy who played Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton is the new Jack Bauer.
Huh. Okay.
And it's not written well at all.
Do they still have like the bloop 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 or whatever the
Yeah.
ringtone?
They have the clock. They have the sound effect.
Except
Okay.
now the digits in the clock are blue instead of yellow.
Ooh.
Yeah. Blue clock.
I don't
They
like
changed
that.
it.
And Tony Almeida.
And so far, there's no president, but there is a senator running for president. It's played by Jimmy Smits,
Jimmy
who's
Smits.
by far the best actor on the show, and we wonder why he agreed to be on the show.
Well,
Because
I mean,
clearly they're not spending a lot
So
of
like
money
it
on
also
this show.
sounds
What
like
else
the
is-
plot is actually just like nothing interesting.
So we've watched 7 episodes so far. The
Okay.
6th episode was basically them trying to clear all the plot lines off the board so they could reset and start some new plot lines.
Oh boy.
and there's only 12 episodes, so it's like it's-
Real late for a reboot.
huh.
And it's not like the reboot, that episode was pretty good, but like it wasn't like Cat Stark ending and Live Another Day.
Oh, it's definitely not on the peak 24 stuff.
Yeah.
There is one plot line we really enjoyed about a sleeper cell in a high school that we called Insanity High School. That plot line was good.
Oh, okay. Well, now the bracket names make more sense.
In Sandy High School.
On the March Madness
Professor
stuff.
Science.
Yeah, I just thought you were an insane person over there, Noah. Sorry, we have an audience, and he's looking at me like I'm insane.
We have a live audience.
So Noah thought it was some kind of Canadian high school. I have no idea.
yeah.
Don't get the reference at all.
But
So-
yeah, anyway, that podcast is called the David Palmer Presidential Library.
So if you are watching 24 Legacy, first of all, we're sorry, but it's much more enjoyable if you follow it up with the David Palmer Presidential Library.
No doubt.
Yeah, if you like us, I think you should maybe watch and listen to our podcast. Like hate watch it.
Maybe.
Should hate watch
We're
it.
gonna get
It's-
some.
It's tough
we're
for
gonna
me
get
to
some subscribers.
It's it's hard for me to recommend.
Steal your friend's phone and subscribe to the David Palmer Presidential Library podcast.
He's
It's
right.
hard for me to recommend watching 24. Maybe just listen to our podcast because we do go
how
into minutia
thoroughly-
detail about the actual episode.
We do recap the plot pretty extensively.
And we
There you go.
there's some bad weeks in there.
I think you mean hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it encouraged to be inebriated for that show?
Yes.
Please.
We have a drink of the week for every episode, so
Oh.
that we're properly inebriated.
It's the same drink every week.
Got it.
Each
Well-
week,
Spoilers.
one each week, the same one.
No, not the first couple ones. We had a different one.
Man.
James, you got any plugs?
Ooh, any plugs? I've been playing a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn because that game is probably one of the best games I've played in a while.
That's a great video game.
So I'm going to suggest that one out as my video game pick of the week
There you go.
if we did a weekly show.
Yeah, we're close to a weekly show, James. Close.
Hey, I can have hopes.
Rob, you got any plugs?
I guess I should say, like, to wrap up the 24
Yeah.
thing, you can follow that podcast on Twitter at the DPPL, and it's also on Facebook.com/the DPPL.
There
and
you
you
go.
can email the DPPL@gmail.com.
Whoa. There we go.
Man, that was like professional over
Man,
there.
maybe taking over those host duties.
I've been
The real play.
I have a good example that's been showing me the ropes. You know?
That's
Yeah.
true.
Harrison.
Shows right now. Well,
I was just saying plugs. I mean, you
Plugs.
don't have to plug a show.
I'm gonna plug a show I'm watching.
Okay.
Planet Earth 2 is an amazing show. Like, It's currently airing on BBC America. It is one of the best things I've seen in a long time. I love Planet Earth 2.
Are you watching it in 4K or?
I don't have a 4K TV, but 1080p.
Yeah, I would also back Harrison's suggestion on that one. Great show.
Planet Earth 2 is amazing.
Everything you do is great. I just watch that show in awe and lose my shit every time there's a new animal. I'm just gonna the quick one is look out for those sloths, or just go to YouTube right now and look up Planet Earth 2 sloth.
Are there
and
any
you're
you
gonna
guys
love it.
haven't watched yet?
No, but a new one's on tonight, so
Ooh.
we'll see.
It's the classic Saturday night TV
It's
hotspot.
it's real
Where you
good.
get all the ratings.
I want to personally thank the British taxpayers for funding the development of Planet Earth 2 because it's very good.
How does it compare to Planet Earth 1?
I like Planet Earth 1 a lot, but I think that and they kind of say this in the show, but the camera technology is evolved so much since the first one that the shots they're able to get and how close they are they're able to get to animals is really, really interesting and impressive. And then just the way that they kind of edit it is that they kind of make really relatable and stories around each kind of animal that they're following. So you can kind of the theme is mostly, hey, see what it takes for this animal to survive in the wild, see the insane lengths that these animals go to survive. And it's really cool.
Yeah, you find yourself getting pretty attached to the actual animal and almost envisioning yourself in their shoes, and it's wow, this is real.
Yeah.
So on that note, there was a Jerry Seinfeld joke about how 1 week you could be watching a documentary on the antelope, and you're like, antelope, run, get away from the lion, get away from the lion. And then the next week you'll be watching a documentary on the lion. You're like, lion, get that antelope, don't let him get away, get that antelope.
Gotta eat.
Definitely.
So
Oh, yeah.
you're
It's definitely however they're setting it up. Yeah,
yeah. So I thought that was a really good joke.
absolutely.
Max, you want to plug anything?
Yeah, so Netflix acquired this weird Japanese reality television show called Terrace House.
Okay.
And it's really pleasant. It's got a lot of weird stuff going on, but it's great.
I feel like we got to put that on the list.
Yeah, let me do a quick sell. The show has sort of interspersed in the episode its own panel. It's like an integrated podcast. It's very interesting. So it sort of replaces your water cooler talk about, did you see what happened on that episode? Because you got these guys talking about that was nuts, that sort of shit.
Is it replacing us?
No, we can definitely add on top of this.
No.
and talk
Should
about
we?
it.
Do we talk over them? Do we? Do we have it on?
We can do whatever we want. There's an unreliable narrator aspect. I just watched this episode where basically these people have been saying for 10 episodes, yeah, we haven't even held hands yet. And then this other guy's I've totally woken up at 4 a.m. and seen her in your bed. So they were totally lying, and they were stringing along the audience with them.
Oh,
It's just
that's kind of cool.
very-
The producers were.
It's unclear if the producers knew. It seemed like they were actually hiding it.
Hmm.
It's very weird, interesting, good show.
What's it called again?
Terrace House, not terrorists. Terrace.
Okay, got it.
Terrace.
Okay. Well, you can follow. I don't really have any show to plug.
All right.
Anything else? Any games or anything? Reading anything?
Well, I mean,
Podcast.
Designated Survivor was is a decent show. I really like The Magicians at the moment, which is probably my favorite show on TV. Sunny this season was actually really good. It's
Good
always
season
sunny in
of Sunny.
Philadelphia. I thought the ending was really good.
Whoa. No spoilers.
Okay. I won't mention that Mac blows up the bar. It's fine.
Oh damn.
Oh.
He knows how much it angers me. Even fake spoilers.
But it might be a real spoiler.
Right, now I'm just being the whole episode, the rest of the season I was
Now-
thinking,
now you gotta-
maybe that bar blows up, you fucking ass.
Now you got to challenge him.
It's fake news.
Yeah,
man.
see, that's why they need that element in the challenge. Well, review me right now, loser goes home.
Loser gets thrown off the podcast.
Oh, there is one thing that happens on the challenge that I gotta talk about.
Okay.
One of these returning challengers, 5 times, says, "Gotta make the challenge great again," and each time we're
Oh.
"You gotta just shut the fuck up."
So bad. So that's Zach. That's Jenna's ex-boyfriend.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Was he on the X's season?
Who the fuck
I'm
is
not sure.
Jenna?
Jenna's the blonde-haired girl
The
who's
second place,
Kayla's
multiple
friend.
times.
This is the second time we've asked who's Jenna on this podcast.
Come on, Chris.
She's the one who's been in all those finals.
Okay. All right.
Damn.
All right. Well, you can follow us on Twitter at Who Put This On, and you can find us on Facebook.com/Who Put This On. You can email us at whoputthison@gmail.com. Sorry if you've emailed us because I don't think anyone's checked that one.
I checked it
Okay.
not like yesterday, but I checked it recently enough.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get to you if you email us. Facebook's probably the best way to get in touch with us.
Oh, for sure.
And if there's a suggestion for a show, post
Yeah.
on that Facebook page.
If you suggestions take precedence over pretty much anything. So if you suggest, we will probably watch it. That's about it. Thanks.
Thanks.
Adios.
Bro.
Bruh.